What's going on, everyone? It's great to have you. It is Sunday and we're talking about 7 fragrances that I wore from this past week. It was Halloween. Some of these fragrances are a little bit scary. They're tough to pull off, but a lot of these are going to be great fragrances if you're just looking to find some unique fragrances or if you just want to hear what I wore this past week. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around and let's jump right in. What's going on, everyone? It's Eli with Common Sense. Thank you so much for joining me, and I just love making these videos on Sunday afternoons where I get to talk with you, and I love hearing what you guys wear throughout the week. So as always, leave down below in the comments what you've been wearing, if you have any new pickups, new discoveries, or if you want to just see what I have in my collection, just leave it down below and I'd love to chat about it with you. So first up on this last week, it was Monday and I got a new fragrance in the mail. I've been testing it on my skin and boy, this stuff is potent. Oh my gosh. This is from Al Haramain and this one is Haramain's Amber Oud Aqua Dubai. This is an extrait de parfum and they are not playing around with that extrait de parfum label. Oh my God, I wore probably 2 or 3 sprays of this like on my neck area and it kind of was a little bit too much, but man, this stuff smells so soapy. It is very spring and fall appropriate, and I feel like this is a beautiful soapy, just elegant fragrance. So it's got a wonderful gingery, just kind of bright quality in the opening, and this is going to be similar to Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Now, I do have a small decant of that, and it smells very, very similar. There are some small differences, and I feel like this, it definitely has that green tea vibe. It's got that bright citrus, some musky amber, and some of those fruity, just green tones in here, but I feel like there's also just a little bit more of a tropical vibe, so I think there's also like a melon note or something listed in there, but it smells really, really good. If you're looking for a super strong, potent version of Imagination for like $40 or $50, this is going to be perfect, and it lasts an eternity, probably 12, 13 hours, and that one is Al Haramain's Amber Oud. Now the next day, I wanted to keep it going with some of these blue fragrances because I am doing a video coming up very soon where I talk about fresh fragrances that you can pull off in the cold weather, so stick around for that one. But this one I wanted to test out and see how it performed on my skin throughout the cold, and it was pretty cold this week. It was in like the 60s to 70s, and man, this stuff is great for all weather. This one is Michael Malul's Ocean Noir, and I originally got this one during the summertime, but I love how this smells on my skin and on my clothes, especially in the cold weather, because it still has that really nice, sweet blue fragrance DNA. It kind of smells like Blood of Chanel. It's got like a kumquat, fruity note up top that smells a little bit tropical, but I think the way that this dries down, it smells like a creamy, just dark woods, and it definitely has some musks in there, but I think it's almost like a patchouli vibe or like a tonka that kind of just radiates off of your skin, and it does give off this kind of dark blue vibe that you get from this bottle. But in the cold, it definitely transforms and it smells a little bit smokier, but it still has that nice, easy, mass-pleasing, sweet, fruity accords that really just make this a masterpiece. And that one is Ocean Noir by Michael Malul, London. And that was for Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, it was a challenging fragrance. This one, it's one of my all-time favorite fragrances, and I just picked it up recently, but yeah, this one, I sprayed it on about an hour before I left, and by the time that I got to work, I feel like it was appropriate to be around other people, and I wasn't going to be just an olfactive bomb and, you know, just somebody who you don't want to smell or be around. This one is a masterpiece from the house of Arabian Oud, and this one is Abyat. Now, this fragrance opens up with a very divisive opening. It's got a very animalistic agarwood in the opening. It's a tart, almost acrid agarwood, so it's going to be a little bit smoky. It's going to smell very strange, and it's not very pleasing to the untrained nose. Now, if you love the note of agarwood, if you love those kind of barnyard fecal ouds, just a hint of that in the opening, then that's going to smell absolutely fantastic. And I myself just love this and cannot get enough of this. But In about 30 minutes to an hour after you originally spray it, it dries down and it becomes a lot more rose and floral, musky, just a clean vibe. So it's like you kind of were out and you smelled this like really dirty oud in the opening, and then you took a nice shower and you have this beautiful aquatic soapy rose. I think you have some lily of the valley in here, and it just smells so white, floral, and just so irresistible and clean. So this one is definitely an amazing fragrance, and you have a beautiful presentation, and you can definitely tell that care was put into the design of the bottle, the presentation. In fact, I'm gonna probably do a full review of this, but the box is absolutely insane, and it has a really cool niche presentation. I'll just show you real quick. It's got this thick wood box, and it opens up and has the fragrance right there in that foam. And they even have some cool detailing right here. I don't know if you can see this sewn detailing around the edges. So they really did do their homework, and yeah, super high quality box and super high quality fragrance. Now, Thursday was Halloween, and I wanted something a little bit dark, a little bit strange, and I decided to pick up an older fragrance that I got about a year ago, and I went with this one. I went with Paris Corner Amir Vertex. Now, this is going to be a twist on the Roja Apex Eau de Parfum. Not the parfum, but this is going to be a beautiful orangey spice. It's kind of radiant, it's kind of soapy and green. It's got some fresh juniper berries, florals, and just a dark, earthy, moody aspect to it. And something about this kind of smells very old school, especially from that oak moss. You have some patchouli in there, and the more that I smell this, the more it kind of reminds me of that Dior Sauvage Elixir, as well as the Latafa Assad. So it's got that dark kind of licorice, spicy saffron, and you also have some beautiful piney juniper, just foresty notes in here, and it makes it smell dark, mysterious, and yeah, it's got a nice bit of warm spice to it. I feel like there's also some nutmeg and some other just nice kind of sweet vibes in there that make it smell really, really alluring and definitely really sexy. But if you're looking for something kind of mysterious and green and you like the forest, then go for this one. Go for Amir Vertex. Now, the next day, I did some rack store hunting with my brother, and I found a really, really underrated fragrance. I thought it was discontinued, but it's been popping up at a lot of rack stores recently. This one is Bentley for Men Black Edition. Now, I haven't smelled a whole lot of the Bentley fragrances. I know they're cheap, they're slept on, and they were super popular back in the day, but this one, oh my goodness, this has some magic to it. This has a slightly sweet, aquatic, and very powdery violet. You have some peppers and woods in here, and almost like a green leather quality, especially from the papyrus note in here. Now, the papyrus can come off a little bit woody, slightly smoky, but here I think it does give off a little bit of that creamy, just slightly smoky leather with a bit of that earthy, woody backbone to it. So the violet and the mossy, earthy notes in here just make it smell like fresh mountain air, and it's super, super powdery, especially with some of those violet and creamy notes. But I think the spices in here, there's also some warmth from the tobacco and some of the nutmeg, and really, I think all seasons are appropriate for this fragrance. So to me, this almost smells like it's in niche territory. It smells like a DNA that would come out from something like Louis Vuitton, maybe Tom Ford, or maybe even like an Amouage or something just very clean, sophisticated, and expensive. And I think I got it for about $30 for this giant bottle, but it is a beautiful, delicate fragrance. It's aquatic, dark, and honestly, this is very slept on. So if you see this in your rack stores, definitely pick it up. It's on a completely other level than some of the other designers out there, and that one is Bentley for Men Black Edition. Now, Saturday, I decided to go for a really long-lasting, potent, powerful fragrance, and I don't feel like a whole lot of people know about this brand, and I did a video up here where I talked about this fragrance brand and some of my favorites from their Discovery set. But this one is from the house of Warren & Haggard, and this is Heaven or Hell Parfum Extrait. So if you like the smell of Jo Malone's Myrrh and Tonka, this is going to be very similar to that with some, slight differences, but I absolutely love how this one smells. It's soapy, it's sweet, vanillic, and it's got a touch of that almond vibe up top. So it's gonna smell creamy, slightly woody, metallic, but it's not quite as strong as the opening in the actual Myrrh and Tonka by Jo Malone. It's just very powdery. It kind of smells like a vanilla donut, like a powdered sugar, and it is slightly gourmand, but it's also got a very nice masculine quality to it from some of the dark, moody notes in there. And I swear that myrrh note in there just smells kind of resinous, smoky, and it's not going to be like a burning wood. It's just like a beautiful, soapy, expensive bubble bath smell. So I love how this smells. If you're looking for a really underrated fragrance house, check out this one. And that one is Warren & Haggard Heaven or Hell Parfum Extrait. And it did last probably 12 hours or more on my skin and on my clothes. So super strong stuff. And then today was Sunday. I went to church, said hi to my friends, and I wore this fragrance. This one is Dior Sauvage Eau Forte. Now, I originally didn't love this fragrance. I kind of give it a harsh rating. I didn't even really review it. I just have been waiting around because my opinion was kind of changing a little bit, and I didn't really know how to feel about this one. But I actually quite like this one now. This is going to be a very waxy LMI in the opening. It's got a very medicinal lavender, and it definitely has a peppery, waxy, just strange mentholated quality in the opening. And I've actually started getting used to it, and I actually quite like the opening now. So I don't know if I'm just going crazy or if it's just an actual good DNA. But this stuff is going to be an aqua parfum, so there's no actual alcohol in here. It just kind of sits on your clothes and on your skin until you wash it off. But it has lasted quite a bit. It's been about 8 hours or so since I applied it. I can still get whiffs of it if I put my, hand on my arm way up to my nose. But after about that like 3 or 4 hour mark, it gets really close to the skin. So it's pretty good. I think I like the DNA a lot more since I've spent some more time with it, but I still don't quite know how to feel about it. Like, it's sweet, it's dark, it's got that Lattafa Assad elixir spiciness, but it also has a little bit of that kind of soapy quality and some of that medicinal lavender. So it's definitely an interesting break and deviation from the Dior Sauvage line, but yeah, I think it actually smells a lot better. That one is Dior Sauvage Eau Forte. So that was 7 fragrances from my rotation this week. Again, let me know down in the comments what you've been wearing, and I'd love to talk about it. Hopefully you guys had an amazing week, and I can't wait to film this next video. I've been taking a little bit of time off for just my family and just doing other stuff, but I'm gonna try to get back to it and upload a little bit more frequently. And for 2025, I've got some really cool content for you guys. So be sure to subscribe and continue watching for more cool videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Eli with Common Sense. Till the next time, bye-bye.